Can you see me and hear me? Is this time a go? See who's here. Hey, Maria's here, or at least I typed in there. And guess who? It's Nancy is here. Saying hi, y'all. Kathleen. Oh, yay. Thank you, Terry. Kathleen Kendall says hi, Marie and everyone. Gloomy skies with a threat of thunder showers today here in Unity, Maine. I have been seeing what I can make using 2 fat quarters and batting. You know, I did a video, I can look it up if I need to, but it was a scrap fabric box. Well, similar to this. Like what I have right here. You can make with that. I think I named it a Halloween bag, but it's just a small tote bag that is fat quarter friendly. But there are a million YouTubers out there with patterns for fat quarters. So, okay, let's see. Thank you, Terry, for the help. I know she let you guys know what was going on. Her and Honor were giving me moral support in our admin chat because I could not get anything to go. All right, Gladys is here. She says hello to everyone. Yo, Patty is here. Hello. Let's see, Barb is here. She says, yay, it's Marie. Hip, hip, hooray. You must be our cheerleader of the day today, Barb. We'll make you, someone will sew you. Someone with an embroidery machine will make you a little ribbon. No, I love the enthusiasm. Hi, Jan. Good to see you. Good to see you. And Nancy King is here, and she says she's new here. So you know what? You get the chair happy dance. We're so happy to have you here. Thank you for coming into the chat, letting us know that you're here. We're glad to have you here. Let's see. Are you new to my channel or just new to the chat? That would be the next question. Hi, Ninian. Hello, hello. She has coffee or tea. I'm not sure which. She's got her little cup emoji with her little sewing needle and thread. And so, yay. Absolutely. Now, I don't know what you guys are doing today. It doesn't matter. You could sew with me. You could clean your sewing room if you were really feeling it. I'm not. That's why it looks like this. But I opened I go say it. I don't mean charm pack. A jelly roll. There we go. And this is by Riley Blake, and it's called Notting Hill by Amy Smart. You probably can't see it because of the glare. But anyway, it is Riley Blake, Notting Hill, Notting, and then Hill, by Amy Smart. And I have them pinned up, but what I'm going to do is sew the strips together and then cut them to the size I want to make a bag, because I hardly ever make anything for myself and I need a new summer bag. I have my scrappy Tula Pink tote bag, which I love, but I want something a little bit smaller than the tote bag for the summer. So that's what I'm going to be working on. I'm going to sew them down in strips. I'm going to attach them to my batting, and then I'm going to quilt them. Let's see. Nancy says she's new to the chat. Okay, awesome, awesome. Nancy says, do I have to clean? Absolutely not. No, I won't make you clean. I'm just saying, if someone is listening and they're cleaning their sewing room, good for you. And when you're done, you can come here. Or maybe Nancy wants some help there too. There's Honor. Hey, Honor. Hey, guess who is right? Okay, so I'm going to begin sewing, but I got to tell you guys, on Wednesday, there was something I forgot to do on the What's Up Wednesday. I forgot to draw the names for the monthly prize. So I'm going to have to do it next week. Silly me. All right, so if we start to have any kind of issues with the stream, I don't know how to fix it. I just truly don't. And I'm covered in little white specks because the pinking on the end of these, you just touch them and it gets everything everywhere. All right, let's see. Hi, Deborah. Deborah says, hi, Marie. I'm so glad to catch a live. Well, I'm glad you did as well. And Barb says, oh, Richard, where are you? You were so funny earlier. Uh-oh, what was he up to? Was he telling funny stories? I have to know. Inquiring minds want to know. I think I am going to turn my phone on to read the live stream. That would be easier than going like this all the time. Like one of those little birds that used to dip their... Remember those things when we were kids? Well, depending on your age. It was a little bird, and you'd, like touch its head to get it to go, and it would just keep, its beak would just keep going down into this little thing that looked like a little bucket of water or whatever. But yeah. And that's what that reminded me of when I did that. All right, let's see if I can find my live stream. We have 11 thumbs up, so thank you so much for that. It doesn't want to open for me. I can't open my own. You know what? I'm not going to worry about it because I don't need any issues with my stream. So we'll just go with what we have. Hi, Melanie. How are you doing? Nancy says, thank you. Now I have a good excuse. Marie said I don't have to. That's right. And I'll even write you a note, just like as if you were going to school and needed a doctor's note. So Terry had us telling jokes. Aw, see, isn't she sweet? Oh, so Richard and all of you were telling jokes then. Perpetual motion bird. Thank you, Honor. You're like my own little encyclopedia. Carol Lee. Hello, everyone. I'm new to the chat, but here watching for a while. Well, we're so glad you're here. We're so glad you're here. You get the little happy dance. Yay. Hi. Okay, Melanie's here. Sue Lambert is here. Oh, Grandma had one of those birds. I know they were funny. Hi, Emily. Almost skipped right past you there. So, I'm just going to throw this out there, just in case. I have a lot of stomach issues, and earlier I was feeling a little bit icky, but that passed until about 20 minutes ago. So if I say, I'll be right back, then I'll be back as soon as I can, and you'll have to amuse yourselves, I guess. That's how that will work. But yeah, I'm just going to sew these strips together. So is anyone else sewing with me? Or are you guys hanging out? Laying on your couch, just listening? Cleaning your fridge? No, don't do any cleaning. That wouldn't be any fun. Turn that fan off. It is very overcast here today. I see that Kathleen had written that it was overcast and chance of thunderstorms in Unity, which they're way south of where we are, but even so, yeah, it's just a gloomy day. Gloomy, gloomy. Now, I might not be able to leave that fan off. It's also very humid. It was so humid here the other day. Like, I have this little bandage on my finger. It's a stretch bandage. Comes on a roll, and it's just like those Ace bandages that you get for your knee or your wrist or whatever that are stretchy, only instead of cloth it's just something you use once. Well, anyway, it was so humid here the other day that when I went to put one of those on, I have a little tube of Vaseline and I went to put it on the cut that's there from dry skin. And I upended that, flipped the cap off, and liquid. It was like vegetable oil is what it looked like coming out of there because the humidity was so high. All right, Donna Ritchie is here. Holy, it's been a while. You are right. I'm so happy to see you. Let's see who else is here. Hope you've been well, Donna. Everyone's saying hello, and there's Mona did what? Hi, Mona. Glad you found us. I don't know what happened earlier. I opened OBS Studio and my whole computer just froze. I couldn't click anything. I couldn't close anything. I couldn't do anything. It totally froze. And the only thing I did was last night as I shut the computer down, it asked me if I wanted to update and shut down or shut down. I should have chosen shut down without the update because I always have issues after that. Emily says that she's making a patriotic runner for her living room table. Well, that's awesome. I was thinking the other day, I mentioned on Wednesday that my mom wants me to make her a scrappy pillow for her new apartment, and I was thinking I could make her a matching table runner once I see what she has for like a coffee table or an end table or something. But yeah. How big is it going to be, Emily? Jan says that she's about to start rolling sticky energy bites. I'll be listening. Well, that sounds interesting and yummy. Oh, I missed you too, Donna. I'm glad you're here. And like I said, I hope everything is okay. And Carolia says, I've been working on trying to make labels for my bags with Canva. Finally got it right today. Well, that's good. You know, I have heard that people do that. I've never tried it. I did download Canva at one point, but I am not great with technology. Hi, Richard. He says, finally found the new link. Well, I heard that you had everyone laughing. That's what I heard. They were looking for you a few minutes ago. When this is over, you'll have to go back and, well, I guess you can't read the chat right away because YouTube never posts the chat right away, but tomorrow you can look and see what they were talking about. For anyone who just got here, I am sewing jelly roll strips together because I'm going to make myself a new tote bag. I have other projects I probably should be working on, but this was the easiest one for me to prep, and of course after that fiasco of the first live stream not working right, I figured the easier the better. Because I had something else almost prepped. I was like, nah, guess not. I'll go with this. So anyway, I'm just going to sew the strips together, attach them to a batting, and quilt it. Nothing fancy. Just that. And make a bag out of it. Not a tote bag, more of a purse-sized bag. Mona says she needs a nap soon. Her daughter made a huge lunch. And you just felt you had to eat it, right? Speaking of meals, I don't know what we're having for supper tonight. I didn't plan that far ahead. I was going to take chicken out last night and put it in a crock pot before we went to bed. But I didn't go down cellar and get the chicken out of the freezer. So guess what we're not having for supper? Because it's still in the freezer. I mean, technically I could cook it. I've cooked it many times from frozen. I put it in it's kind of a deep frying pan, and I put a little bit of water and some barbecue sauce in there, and on a really low heat until it's thawed. I keep a lid on it, and then after it starts cooking, I add more barbecue sauce, and it's just as good as doing it in the oven that way. Oh, and I add tons of onions over the top. Have to have onions. I always say I couldn't cook without onions and garlic. I love that stuff. Hi, Butterfly Queen. Good to see you. And Barb asks, is there a tutorial for the bag you're making? Actually, there's not, but I got this from a friend of mine. She makes these bags all the time, and she told me her measurements. And I didn't think to ask her at the time if she would mind if I made a tutorial from what she told me, because it's kind of her signature bag. She makes them and goes to the local craft fairs. They're very popular. It's a very cute purse. But I didn't ask her permission. But no, I'm sorry I don't. But if you're looking for bag patterns, I have quite a few videos, probably more than any other thing I have made on my channel. I have made so many bags. I have a 5-part tote bag series that each step allows you to choose your own method of what you're going to do on everything. But I'm not sure how well you know your way around YouTube, but if you go to my channel and then you click on playlists, you can find bag making videos under the playlists. So I hope that helps, Barb. And Emily says that her runner is going to be 12 by 30. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Emily's making beef fajitas for dinner. Might make strawberry margaritas to go with it. Well, see, she has the right idea here. She's going to make a table runner. Then she's going to have margaritas with beef fajitas. There you go. And Richard saying hello to everyone. Okay, and I am covering myself with white fuzz. I think I'm just going to give up and let it be. Yeah. This fabric is so pretty. It really is. I'd had it for quite a while. Kimberly, I believe, was the one who gifted it to me. From my fabric addiction. I think she's the one who gifted it to me. She just messaged me the other day and wanted to know what I wanted from the shop, because she sends me things randomly. But you know what I think I want? And do you know what I want? I think I want some of those mystery grab bags. She doesn't have them on her Etsy storefront, which is My Fabric Addiction 1 over on Etsy, but she does have them on her .com address, which is just myfabricaddiction.com. But anyway, when I was over to myfabricaddiction.com today, I was looking at her, I call them a scrappy strip pack, but I guess they're called like a 1 pound strip pack. There's something like that. Anyway, when I was on the page that those are on, I noticed that she has selvage edges, and that she also has, and the selvage edges I think are 50 pieces. I couldn't tell you how much they are. But she had a 200 or 220 piece 1.5 inch strip packs, which I knew that was new. So bye, Ninian. We're glad you were here. She says, I'll finish listening later. I have a dinner to attend. Cheers and hugs, everyone. Well, you're so sweet. Thank you. Hi, Tammy. Good to see you. Hello, hello. And Terry is dropping links as we speak. But I didn't go to the Etsy shop to see if she had those strip packs for the selvage edges. She might. That's not where I was when I saw it. But I think I'll tell her that I'll take another t-shirt in another color, because she sent me this one before they were out for sale on her website. And I think I want another t-shirt. Because black might not have been my best idea, being as, summer in Maine is humid. Okay. Hi, Fran. Fran says, hi, Marie, glad to see you. I'm from Elbridge, New York, raining again. Yeah, it's overcast here. It's really looking like rain here too, Fran. I'm sorry. And Terry says Kimberly has pre-cut quilt kits as well. She does. And I think that's what was on sale the other day. I can't remember now, but on Wednesday during my live stream. Well, I had checked out Kimberly's shop right before the live stream. And she had either buy one, get one half price, or buy one, get one free. And it was either a quilt pattern or a quilt kit. And I do believe it was a quilt kit, but that's over and done. I believe that sale is over and done. And I may have mentioned this a few weeks ago, I'm not sure, but I did some filming not the last time, but the next to the last time that I was into Martin's. And I need to get that edited so I can show you guys. Because I found, just showing you guys the prices and some of the fabric that was there. And I know a lot of you really like to see that, so I need to get that video edited. I also need to make a tutorial. I haven't been making very many tutorials lately. So if you're new over the past couple months, you might not know that I was uploading video tutorials. First it was every week, and then I started doing it every other week, because it's a lot of work between the filming and the editing and all that. So I was doing it every other week, and then I had a pretty rough winter. This past winter's been pretty rough health-wise, and just a lot going on. So the tutorials kind of fell to the wayside, but I really need to get back to them, and I have so many ideas for them. But my next one I will be using the Scrappy Strip Packs, the 1 pound ones from Kimberly's shop. Now, you can use whatever you have on hand. You can use charm packs. You can use whatever you want. But once you see the tutorial, you'll see what your choices will be. Because I never want to make something that calls for a specific fabric or cut that you have to get. I just don't want to do that. In fact, it wasn't until, and this is no lie, it wasn't until I had this channel that I ever had a pre-cut other than a fat quarter. I couldn't afford to buy a charm pack or a jelly roll. If I bought fabric, I bought, the most I ever bought was for a quilt backing, back when I used to do quilts. But I would buy a yard usually, at most. And that's no joke. So I know that it's not always possible for us to, buy pre-cuts or whatever. So that's why I will never just put up a tutorial and say, oh, you have to have this or that. I'll always leave options, because it's all about options, right? Okay. Terry said yes, she had a buy one get one free kits. I wish I could have grabbed one or two. Yeah. Hi Janice. Janice says, hi, Marie. Hi, all chatters. This looks like fun. Sorry I'm late. Well, I am just chit-chatting. You're not really all that late. We haven't even been going 30 minutes yet because I was first scheduled for 2 p.m., but I ran into some major issues and I couldn't go live. My computer was kind of froze. So, yeah. After I get these strips that I've sewn, once I get these ironed open, I'll show you guys everything that I have here. Guess I gotta wait for it to heat up. Should have grabbed the smaller iron. What was I gonna say? Yeah, instead of doing 2 pieces, I thought about leaving it all in one long strip and quilting the whole thing, but I don't know. That might be a little, I don't know. I'll probably still cut it. Thinking out loud, sorry. Okay. So I started working on some postcards the other day. I had some ocean fabric out, and so I'm getting low on postcards again because, like, I draw a weekly winner, and then I had a live stream with Danelle from Danelle's Stitchery, and I gave away 2 over there. But then, of course, sometimes I need one for a birthday or a family member. But anyway, these don't have a card on the back of them yet. Now, first I want to show you that, see that there's decorative stitches on there. And then this is what the front looks like. So just some ocean lighthouse. Whoops. I'll never get that right. And then this one, same kind of thing. All the different decorative stitches. I have them. I may as well use them on something. And this one is a lighthouse. But I really need to take 3 or 4 days and just simply make postcards because I need to get caught up. I really, really do. But yes, thank you, Terry. I knew she had buy one, get one. It was either half off or free or something, but I could not remember. And yes, she has yardage on sale in the Etsy. Yes, that's right. I forgot about that. Forgot. Well, hello, Deb S. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well, you and your little puggies. I think I've told you that we had a pug. His name was Eddie. We called him Eddie Spaghetti. And he could only see out of one eye, and even that was not good, according to the vet. Well, according to us as well. We couldn't really move any furniture around or do anything because the poor guy would bump into it, you know. But he only had one eye when we got him. And he was probably not quite a year old when we got him. Now the story we heard is that the people who had him, one of their big dogs, they were not responsible people. I don't want to get into the sad story of how we came about getting him, but I'm just glad that we had him. But either way, when he was a pup, one of their bigger dogs took at him and the tooth went through his eye, so he was down one eye when we got him. But he was the sweetest boy. Oh, seriously, he was so sweet. And I said to my husband, you know, it's been 4 years now. Yeah, every time we come in the door from being like shopping, I expect that little puggy tail to be there greeting. But anyway, I'm gonna that's enough of that. Get me crying. Well, I'm glad you're good, Deb. I'm glad you're good. Hi, Rita. Good to see you. Good to see you. Janice says, lovely postcards. I like your colors. Well, thank you, Janice. I appreciate that. And Deb says, my first pug was a rescue. He had cigarette burns on him, and they had put marker on his eyes he couldn't see much. Like, how sad is that? Like, I just don't understand. I just don't. I don't know. It's so sad. Yeah. And when we got him, they said, their words were, he's not trained, he's too stupid. My husband had him trained in 48 hours. And all he did was, he took him outside, and when Eddie did what he was supposed to, my husband gave him a treat. It wasn't rocket science, you know? But, oh, Mona's back again. She says, hi, everyone, again. I was eating dinner. Well, there you go. Getting more tired, Mona. Yes, people are so cruel. It's really sad. It really is. Ah, Butterfly Queen says, I have my Maine Coon kitties here with me. She's being very lovable right now. We have a cat, but she's not lovable. She's irritating. No, we love her, but seriously, that cat, she is busy. Let's just say that. Very, very busy. Yeah, I'm trying to open my seam up here. I don't know how well I did with these pinked edges trying to line them up, but I'll straighten them out before I put them together. A little bit off the mark isn't gonna matter. You know, I probably could iron this all when I'm done sewing the strips, couldn't I? I can hear there's a kid outside playing basketball or playing ball. I can hear the ball bouncing. Yeah, I like to iron my seams flat because I feel like when they're folded to one side, they're harder to stitch through. I used to do a lot of hand quilting, and that's when I kind of got in the habit of that. And I know that they tell you to fold it to the side for extra durability and things like that, but I think if you quilt it enough, I don't think it's going to matter, and I think it's just flatter. But everyone has their own thing that they do. Terry says, one of my dogs had a tattoo. Oops, I can scroll back up. I really missed that. How did I miss that? I gotta find it now. I went to read and it scrolled. The chat scrolled. And Deb said, I'm glad he had a really good rest of his life. He did, and then he got diabetes. That's what happened there. Yeah. Terry says, one of my dogs had a tattoo in her ear, branding her. Like, I don't understand. I don't know as I've ever heard of that. I don't understand, I guess. I just don't. Rita says, goodness, I stopped trying to understand fur kids abuse, so I have a sign on my house that says, dogs and cats welcome, humans maybe. Well, there you go, right? Uh-oh, Terry says, and now I'm shopping my fabric addiction. Oi. Hi, Charlotte. How you doing? Good to see you. Lisa says, I didn't know you were here. My day is complete. No, our day is complete. Uh-oh, I'm froze. I was froze for a minute on my screen. Mona says, I'm going to have a Coke before Lisa's live or I'll fall asleep. Yeah, she has hers in the evenings, right? I think. I'm terrible. I can't keep up with anyone. Let's see. Lisa's in here calling me names. No, she's not. She says, Marie, ye old wrench. chatters and lurkers, and she's saying hello to everyone. I was going to tease her and say she was calling me a wench, but that's not what she wrote. And then Honor pops in to say hey to Lisa. Hi, Lukey. She's here. She says, hi, everyone. I finally made it, but just for a few minutes. Hope you are all well. We are, and we hope you are, and it is great to see you here. So, yeah, we have Honor, Lisa, and Terry here. Lisa Marie couldn't make it. They're having storms in her area where she lives, so she didn't know if she would be getting online or not. So... Rita says that sometimes tattoos are put on animals for various reasons. I see. I have never heard of that. I just didn't even know it was a thing. So Terry says, I think Mona, Deb, and Lisa are going live at 4. Oh, I see. Okay, I gotcha. Well, we won't be much after 4. I was going to go for a few hours, 2 or 2.5 hours, but being as I had all that issue, now I need to, I still need to make supper, and so it's not going to be as long of a live stream as I had hoped, but I still wanted to do it. I figured you guys would want me to instead of just canceling, so. Yeah. Not sure what I'm doing tomorrow. I thought about cleaning the sewing room, but if I clean the sewing room, I don't get any sewing done. You see how that works? Do you guys do this? A friend of mine and I were chatting on the phone the other day, and she was saying how you go and you clean your sewing room. You got a mess for 3 or 4 days because you have to dig everything out, and it looks so bad. Of course, then that's where the point where I'm like, oh boy, this is discouraging. But you find a whole lot. And I was saying to her, for me, what works for me is taking a basket or a tote and just clearing off the tables into that. No rhyme or reason. Just if it's out there, it's going in there. And then I put everything away one by one. And then I have 3 drawers right down here. So my sewing machine is here, and to the right, down here, are 3 drawers. And I do clean them out 3 or 4 times a year, but it's very easy for them to get all clogged up. And they're clogged up again, you might have guessed. But yeah, you want to clean your sewing room, but number 1, it's usually a pretty big job. Number 2, it takes you longer than what you think it's gonna. And number 3, the good thing, you always find things that you either forgot you had or that you've been looking for and couldn't find. I have a few things I would like to find. So Deb says that on Lisa's channel. So do you mean Mona, Deb, and Lisa are all going live on one channel? Honor says, I'm feeling sleepy too from all the nursing to my daughter and her broken arm. Yes, that poor girl. And she's just such a sweet kid. Seriously, I won't get into it. It's not my story to tell, but I felt bad for her. I really, really did. And Honor, I know you've been worried. Oops, I'm freezing again. Must be cold here. I'm freezing again. Rita says when she had show rabbits, she put tattoos in their ears when they were registered. Well, there, I didn't know that was a thing. Hi, Beverly, how are you? She says, just got up from a nap. We'll need to start over after this is over. And Lisa will be right back. Angel, hello, hello. She says, I finally made a chat, although I'm a bit late. Hello, everyone. Well, we didn't get started at 2 like I had hoped, Angel. It was 2:45 because of technical issues. Let's see. And Butterfly Queen says, my cat has a tattoo on her tummy when she was fixed at 6 months old. Now that I've heard of. I have heard of that. Yeah. Honor needs more coffee. And Rita said all three of my cats were feral at one time, so when I had them sterilized, the vet put a tattoo on their bellies. That's a good idea. Our cat was feral, and that's like, she's not a cat that wants you to pet her. She just isn't. She'll get up in our lap and act like she wants you to pet her, but if you pet her more times than not, she's either gonna bite you or scratch you. She doesn't scratch as much as she used to. So there's that. But the thing is you can just be sitting there and she can be kind of like, if I'm in the recliner, my legs are up, she'll sit to the side of my leg and lean against me. So that's as close as I'm getting to, oh, I like you, But sometimes I'm just sitting there and she'll just cuff me for no reason. Do I freeze for you guys? Because I keep freezing here. Charlotte says, I have 6 projects in motion. Therefore, whoops, it scrolled on me. Therefore, if I put them up, I just forget and start something. Isn't that the way it goes, though? But for me, I find that I might want to sew, but let's say I don't want to sew pot holders today, even though I have an order for them or need them for someone's birthday. I might not feel like doing them, and if I don't feel like making them, I just don't feel like making them. So sometimes I need a few projects going just to choose from. Yeah, Honor sneaked to the kitchen for coffee. I have my water. I have caffeine pills. That's as close to coffee as I'm getting. Terry says, oh, Jack, the sewing machine killer. Yes, indeed, the sewing machine killer. For anyone who missed the story, I had a brand new Singer Quantum Stylus 9960. I paid close to $500 for it. And I had never had a machine that expensive before. And Jack laid up on the top of it, and I didn't think she'd heard anything. What could she do? Well, she heard a bird or something, and when she jumped off, her paw went like this, or both back paws went like this, and my machine went and split into 4 pieces on the floor. Pieces going everywhere. So, you may ask, did it work after that? Well, it was plastic. Nothing broke, nothing cracked. It all snapped back together. But there were some issues. So, let's say you put it on stitch number 39 and it was, let's say, a wavy stitch. You might get a zigzag. And it might be wide, it might be narrow. It was never the same thing twice. So, other than the straight stitch, you had to guess at anything that you were sewing, and the buttonholer wouldn't work because I used to put buttons on my towel toppers, and I would go to do that, and it would just hum. It would just make this humming sound. It would not make a buttonhole. All right, Rita said they have the tattoos, and also the vets, when they sterilize, they do clip the tip of their ear, which lets people know that they're feral but have been sterilized. Well, interesting. Terry says this was a tattoo used by a breeder. She was used for 7 years, kept in a crate for 7 years of her life, pumping out puppies. Evil. There is no other word for that. No other word for that. Poor baby. But I know you, Terry. You've made up for it. All that love. Yes, Rita, that's interesting. Interesting indeed. Honor says you froze in face but not in voice. Nancy says, Marie, caffeine pills? Yeah, I'll show you. You can get them online. You can buy them at Walmart. It says stay awake. It's just 200 milligrams of caffeine. Now, what it says somewhere I read, that it's equal to 1 cup of coffee. Now, I have never drank a cup of coffee in my whole 60 years. I have never done it. But I will say that for many years of my life, I loved Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew has a lot of caffeine in it. I drank usually a 2 liter and then part of the next 2 liter every day. That's a lot of caffeine. So when I gave that soda up, I was getting horrific headaches. And my doctor said, grab some caffeine pills because you were so addicted to the caffeine, you can't just drop it like that. That's where those headaches are coming from. So when it said equal to a cup of coffee, I thought, oh, I could take those. So I took a whole one, and it made my headache majorly worse. Wow, there, my face froze in that awkward position. Anyway, this is just the Walmart brand, but I bought, what is it, Jet Alert or something like that. Those ones don't seem as strong to me, but when I get up, I take a half of one, and then I take a quarter of one about an hour later, because if I take 3/4 of a pill all at once, it makes my stomach feel icky. But yeah, so that's what I do in the morning. When I wake up, I get a nice glass of water, a piece of toast, and my caffeine pills. Just what you wanted to learn on a sewing chat, right? Okay, Lukey says, I have about 7 machine sewing projects and about 4 hand stitching. I better get things done. Well, you like variety. That's what it is. There's nothing wrong with that. Terry says, my dog's name was Lexi, and she was just a bowl of sugar. Forgave everyone and loved all people and animals. Isn't that sweet? Isn't that sweet? Rita says she adopted a little dog that when I got her, she was about 5 years old and did not even weigh a pound. She had burns all over her little body, and she lived to be 20. Terry says, oh, I used to use NoDoz caffeine pills. Needed them when I couldn't drink coffee for health reasons. Yeah, it makes a big difference, doesn't it? Because when you're used to caffeine. Rita says, caffeine pills do not really work for me. I'll just stick with my Mountain Dew caffeine. Yeah, I can't drink soda now. And I drank it for years. I gave it up because I just figured it wasn't healthy for me. And now, if I open a soda for my husband, I'll take a sip. Anything more than a sip, and my stomach feels like it's sour. It's just, I can't do any kind of soda. It doesn't matter what kind. Now Terry wants Mountain Dew. And Honor's saying, need more thumbs up, please. Yes, any thumbs up absolutely help. I really thank you, Honor, for the reminder. And Terry says, I'm working on a quilt. All the blocks are done. Well, yay. Honor had a Mountain Dew yesterday. She drank that for me, you see. So, yeah, I keep freezing in all these unnatural positions. Oh, goodness. Terry says, it's so pretty. It's a project with Danny at So Not an Expert. I've seen her channel, yes. Angel, I'm 60 and I never used to drink coffee. I have started drinking it within the last year. Now it's yummy. I wish I could say that. I can't. I even recently tried coffee ice cream again just to see if anything coffee flavored. No, I don't like the flavor of coffee at all. It can't. It's funny, and I know I've said this before, so I am sorry for those I'm repeating it for, but people will say, like this cookie or whatever, oh, it has coffee in it, but you can't taste it. Or they'll give you one of these chocolate mocha drinks and say, oh, the chocolate overpowers it, you don't even taste the coffee. Yes, I do. It's disgusting and I can taste it. That's like if someone didn't like liver and you put liver in your cornflakes and say, oh, you're not going to taste it. Yes, you are. You really are. Because if you don't like the taste, you know what I mean? But I'm glad that you do that. And you know, it's funny. because Angel's saying that she likes it now. I mean, that's amazing. But our tastes do change as we age. Things I didn't like even as a teenager, I like now. Or things that I used to like, I don't like. Like I used to love green peppers, yellow peppers, red peppers. You won't catch me eating them now. I will not touch them. Won't touch them. But I think it's a good thing to always try. Like I tried kale about 10 years ago. And I need to try it again. I didn't care for it. Now I love spinach and, you know, there's a lot of vegetables I like, but I did not care for kale. So, but I ate it in a salad. So it might be different if I boiled it like what, or steamed it or something like what I would with spinach. So, oh yes, Terry wanted to see the jelly roll colors. Yes, indeed. I apologize. And there's not very many lights on here, or else it's all white. I'm all white. Okay, so I'm going to hold up a few of these. There's more that I didn't, that I didn't use. Okay, so here's 4. Whoops. They're really pretty. They really are. Thank you for the reminder. I said I was going to do that, and I am frozen again. Goodness. So there's that. And then I have, I think it's green and yellow. And there's easily 8 more prints that I'm not even using here. So there's 4 colors like this. So I've got a red, a light blue, a darker blue, and the yellow. And then the same with these prints here. Let me put them side by side. These 2. They're the same print, they're just a different color. But there's a lot more. Oh, I can't hold my arms up like that. Let's see. They never go back in a roll once I open them. So they have some with British flags on there. I guess it's a British flag. There's other reds. There's these plaid looking ones in different colors. Some more blue. There's some polka dots in here. I know there's yellow. There's yellow polka dots, and I know there's blue. Yeah, there's the blue polka dots. But yeah, you might be able to Google it, Terry, and see them better than me trying to like that. But again, it was Riley Blake, Notting Hill, Notting Hill, by Amy Smart. It's from 2021, if that helps. Okay. And you know what's funny is my oldest sister, she's the same way I am. She will not drink coffee. Won't drink it, doesn't like it. Honor, you're so sweet. She says, anything for you, Marie. Well, right back at you. I didn't see that. I did see Terry asking about the Jelly Roll colors. Rita says, I do not like coffee. Nope. When I lived in Baltimore, I was buying chicory coffee, and it had a completely different taste. I've heard of that. I've never tried it. Lisa says, my grandmother told me that if I drank coffee, my boobs wouldn't grow. So you're not a coffee drinker? You crack me up. Lukey says, I love coffee, but I had to give it up over 20 years ago. Caffeine in it gave me serious palpitations and nausea. Yikes. Yeah, that would be a good reason to give it up for sure. Terry says, Lisa, my Nona was a prankster too. That's funny. And Terry says she doesn't like kale anyway. She tried it so many times. So it doesn't help, like if you put butter and vinegar and all that on it or anything like that? Rita says if I put kale in a pan and cook it with fresh garlic, hey, I love garlic, it's not so bad, like in a frying pan with butter. I'm going to try that. Thank you, Rita. I will try that. And you are welcome, Terry. Lukey says, working on a one-block wonder. It's going to look amazing. Well, I haven't heard of that, but I will take a look. Thank you, Nancy. I think it's beautiful too, and it's been sitting over there for 2 years unopened, and I had to. Thank you, Barb. Hi, Becky. Good to see you. Becky is in the house, and Barb asks, is your brother still doing well? He is. In fact, he sent me a message yesterday. Now, he lives 4 hours south. He had been up here in easily over 10 years. He just never feels well. And that's a long trip. And then once he went on dialysis, he couldn't leave for 3 or 4 days, at a time. But anyway, he sent me a message saying, I'm feeling better every day, and I can't wait until I can drive up for a visit. So I'm really looking forward to that. So yes, he is feeling a lot better. Thank you for asking, Barb. Terry said, I even made kale chips. The only kale I like is my daughter's. She adds nutmeg. I've tried it, but hers is better. Don't tell her. Nancy says, my gram said if I drank coffee, my feet would turn black, but I still drink it. Well, it's funny you guys saying that. It reminds me of my father's saying. When we were kids, there was 4 girls, and this was before my brother was born, but I was little, and he was trying to get me to eat the peas on my plate. And I specifically remember this incident. I was probably 4 years old. And everything in his world, it's good for you. It'll put hair on your chest. That's what he used to do. So he's sitting there trying to get me to eat my peas, and he says, it's good for you, though. The peas are so good for you. Help you grow hair on your chest. And I'm like, I don't want hair on my chest, Dad. I'm a girl. Still didn't want to eat the peas. Rita says, put some grated Parmesan cheese with it. When I get it, I also use the herb called fennel, which gives any food a different taste. Well, that's interesting. Terry asked Nancy, why didn't they want us to drink coffee? Was it like smoking? Well, I know that my mother used to tell us when we were kids that if we drank it, it would stunt our growth. And I don't know whether people believed that or whether that was just, just because they said it, Kale with sauteed mushrooms, I'd get there. Yes, my brother is doing well. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate that. Terry says, my mother-in-law put coffee in her baby's bottles. I saw her do it. She never watched my babies. Oh, my land, no. No. Nope. Nope. I agree, Terry. Fern says, I hate peas. I love them now. I don't like them raw. Like, my husband will eat them straight out of the garden. I have to have them cooked. But I think they didn't want to share, Nancy says. Lisa says, nice try, Dad. Hair on your chest. Oh, goodness. He was so funny. He was such a funny guy. And he had stories. Oh, my land, did that man have stories. He was a chef, and he worked all over the northeast part of the States. And he worked with a lot of different people, waiters and waitresses and kitchen staff and just people he served. I can't remember now. There was a couple of famous people, but the only one I remember was Cher. But it was back For those of us who remember when Cher was with Sonny, it was that far back. He wasn't with her, but yeah, he cooked for people and for a lot of people, famous, infamous, regular everyday folk. But he loved to cook, and I love to cook. My mom is an excellent cook, and yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's been a while. Trying to think. He has been gone for just over 9 years now, and it just doesn't seem possible. Doesn't seem possible. All right, let's see. Stunted growth was so silly to tell a kid. Yeah, let's laugh. I just looked in Sebastian's bed and he wasn't there, and for a moment I wondered where he was. He was on my lap under my keyboard. Well, there you go, Terry. You didn't have to look very far. Deb has to run almost live time. I'll try to drop by in a little bit, Deb, while I'm cooking. Take care, and thank you for hanging out with us. Better late than never, says Rose. Hello. She says, but I'll watch the replay. Yeah, I'm going to be getting going. I sewed all my strips. I just didn't get the double ones done, but every time I sew and chat, my mouth runs faster than my sewing machine. But the biggest reason is because I got a late start, as well as this screen keeps freezing. So, yeah. Terry says, my mom is gone 20 years today. Glad to be here with you all. Well, I'm glad you're here too, Terry. The anniversary of our son's death would be 3 years this month, coming up. And I've lost two sons, and the anniversaries are rough. They are. So Terry, I feel you. I've been lucky to have. I was lucky to have my dad. His health was bad. We were lucky to have him for the years that we did. And my mom is going to be 92, and it's just amazing. Because a lot of people didn't get the time with their parents that I have. So Terry says, my mom never made us eat things we didn't like. I thank her for that. Yeah. And Barb says her brother would hide his peas in a glass of milk. One of our kids would feed the stuff he didn't like to the dog. The dog always sat underneath the trestle table and sat right at his feet. Yes, let's all send Terry huge hugs. That's right, Honor. Absolutely. And yes, it is good to laugh. Yeah. Oh my goodness, Honor says that tomorrow marks 45 years, the anniversary of Mount St. Helens. It doesn't seem that long ago, Honor. What are you doing to me here? And my graduation from high school. Well, you're just a little bit older than I am. And I apologize if I've repeated this. I do have memory issues, so I forget who I tell what a lot of the time. But now, when this happened, we didn't have internet. So for any of you who are young, we didn't have internet when I was a junior in high school. Okay, and I graduated in '82. But it had happened the previous night. It's just that's how slowly the news sometimes went. But I was in my U.S. history class, which was my second class of the day, I believe, my junior year, and a teacher came to the door, and our teacher was in the middle of teaching, so he put the textbook down on his desk and went to the door, and I remember they stood there just horrified, the person who had come to the door, and it was that John Lennon had been shot. So, you have those things that you remember, like the Mount St. Helens thing, and you think about those things, and it will seem like time just really flies for some things and then not for others. That's for sure. Yes. The inappropriate quilter Zaza is here. Hello. She says, hi, Marie and everyone. I didn't realize you were on. Well, I had tried for 2 o'clock, but I had technical issues, so I had to come back at 2:45, but we're just getting ready. I'm going to be wrapping it up soon, but I'm glad you're here either way. Hi, Giovanna. I'm going to refer to her as the postcard lady, and I am freezing again, which is another reason why I need to hang this up. I can't even scroll in my chat. Oops, there it is. I'll try to read the chat really quickly, and then I'm going to let you go. Eggplant. Yeah, I'm not a fan, but I haven't tried it since I was a teenager, so there again. Honor says feels like yesterday. Yes, a lot of that stuff does. Yeah, Rita says she was living in Oregon when the Mount St. Helens blew. Does not seem that long ago. I know, it's crazy. Well, Giovanna, what happened is my computer kept freezing when I got into OBS Studio. That's where it started. I could not close out of it. I couldn't close out of a window. I couldn't get anything to close or move. I couldn't click anything. So I'm not sure what happened, but I was unable to have my 2 o'clock live. Yes, Honor said it kept circling the drain. You are correct. Yes. Rita says, yes, exactly. I would tell my kids to at least try it. Yeah. And that is a good one, circling the drain, because I kept getting that little circle there. Then again, my oldest daughter would say she hated onions, but she loved my potato soup, and I put a ton of onions. You know, that's funny. We have a grandson who says hates onions, and for Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving, I would make him his own special this and that didn't have onions until 2 years ago when he stood there and told me that he loves the blooming onion from Outback Steakhouse. Right? Nope. Okay. If you can eat a blooming onion, you like onions. Give it another shot, says Honor. I really should. Yeah, I am glitching a bit. I am. Never told my daughter that she didn't like anything, therefore she's eating things I wouldn't touch. Yeah, that's true. When your kids are little, I don't put anything into their head about that. So, well, hello. We got Mom and Pop Quilt Shop in the house. Hello. It's been a while since we've seen you. Giovanna was 3 when JFK was unalived. Yeah. I'm not a fan of eggplant. Every time I buy one, I think about that movie. Cornheads? I don't know. And just cannot eat eggplant. I've never seen it, so I guess I'm all set. It's still an onion, says Terry. That's true. Giovanna, I love onions, but I have an issue with them. Yeah, I do, depending. Like, raw onions bother me. If they're cooked, I'm doing good. Well, everyone, I didn't get as much sewing done as I wanted to, but I did get a start on my next tote bag with that jelly roll, and it was fun to hang out with you guys, even though it took me 2 tries to get the live stream up, but I appreciate your patience. I truly do. Richard said, I believe that I was in 2nd grade when Eisenhower was elected. Should we give Richard the prize of the day? No, there's no prize. I'm teasing you. I heard you were the jokester earlier in the first live stream that I didn't get to. Oh, goodness. Butterfly Queen. I was 18 months old when JFK was shot. Yep. That was before me. I think. What year was it? 1960. I'm terrible. I don't know. Terry says, I'm so happy we got to chat. You can catch up with your sewing, Marie. Thanks so much for doing this. Well, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. And now I'm going to go cook a meal. And then I might even come back up and sew. And I'm going to leave this open so I can read through and see of any chat that I miss, because I generally miss stuff. I can't read it all, but it's great to get to visit with you guys. It really is. I know I say that, but you guys, the mother hen of quilting, Laura Lynn. Yes, she's the queen. She's the queen. And Terry says Richard won as well. Yes, Nancy, I'm happy as well. And no, I haven't seen Coneheads, Lisa. I still haven't watched Young Frankenstein. So there you go. 1963. So it was a year before I was born. I wasn't born until 64. I am the year that the Beatles were on the Ed Sullivan Show. I was born, the 64 Mustang, my favorite ever car. That's me. That's me. I still have to have dinner. It's 10 p.m., says Giovanna. Oh, goodness, Charlotte's Web. Yes, I remember that one, Charlotte. Okay, everyone, I want to thank you for hanging out with me. Yes, Angel, bye to you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Remember, be kind out there. The world needs more of that. I should see you Wednesday morning. I don't know why I wouldn't. So, thanks again. We're all going to go eat, have a drink of coffee, bite a kale, whatever it might be. Eggplant? Never know. Drink a Mountain Dew. The choice is yours, okay? And don't forget that Deb has a live going over at Deb S, the Pug Mama Quilter, and she's got Mona, and then she's got Lisa from, I know her channel name, I can't think of it. Deb S, the Pug Mama Quilter. Okay, take care, everyone. Appreciate you. Have a great night.